Well, as Ellison just mentioned, Senator Warren has been falling behind in the money race, coming in fourth in the fourth quarter fundraising battle, with Senator Bernie Sanders leading, as you can see. Former Vice President Joe Biden rebounding after the third quarter. So what does the campaign fundraising race tell us about the whole race in whole? Karl Rove joins us, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush. Karl, just heard lots of energy and enthusiasm in that rally in which the Massachusetts senator is speaking. But she has fallen short in this quarter. Is that a shadow of her controversial Medicare for All proposal and other issues, or is it something deeper?
Well, fundraising tends to ebb and flow. She had a good third quarter, not so good fourth quarter. I think you're right, Eric, that to attribute it to her difficulties in answering the questions raised about her support for Medicare for All. But what I'm really going to be interested in is not simply the fundraising numbers, but the cash on hand. How much money do they hold on to? Because my sense is that we're likely to find at least 4 candidates who've raised enough money to be competitive in the first 4 primaries and caucuses: Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, and beyond on March 3rd. And Elizabeth Warren's likely to be one of them. Sanders will be one. Biden will be one. Buttigieg will be one. And, of course, the self-funders, Tom Steyer, who's competing in those first primaries, and Mike Bloomberg, who's competing on March 3rd. We'll have 6 people, I suspect, with enough money to be competitive through the 3rd of March, by which time 48% of the delegates will have been selected. And that's a pretty, they're front-loading their delegates, the Democrats are. And so Karl, if they got enough money to be competitive, that's important.
I love that board. Show it a little more toward us so we can see directly. Of that cash on hand, now, in terms of running a presidential campaign, how important is that, and how important is the burn rate? No matter how much you're raising, when you've got to get that massive organization going.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the burn rate is important, because if you spend it early, like Kamala Harris ran a campaign where she spent a lot of money early on things that were not important, and so she ran out of, she was essentially running out of money. On the other hand, Elizabeth Warren got a good start by transferring $10.4 million from her Senate campaign, and she has been very stingy on her spending, as have been some of the other candidates. But that's why I want to see the final end of the year cash on hand numbers, because we're now getting to the point where when you spend the money, it's going to have more of an impact. You run an ad in March or April or May or June or July of 2019, it's got a little bit of an impact in building your name ID, but advertising on digital and radio, on TV and mail and cable, between now and the 3rd of February, it's going to be really important in Iowa, and during the month of February, important in those early states, and then on March 3rd, Super Tuesday, it's going to be really important. And that's my second thing that I'm watching, besides the cash on hand, is the number of delegates. Because remember, the Democrats say if you get 15% of the vote in a district or a state, you get delegates. We've got right now 3, if not 4 candidates in Iowa who are polling above 15%. We've got 2 in New Hampshire polling above 15% and 2 polling right underneath it. We may see these delegates chopped up in the early stages all over the board. And if we get to Super Tuesday, when Mike Bloomberg starts spending money, so that we have 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 candidates who can compete for 15%, at least in slices of those states, we could have the Democratic field all carved up. And because they're front-loading it, it may be virtually impossible for anybody to get 50% of the delegates on the first ballot by the time they get to Milwaukee.
Wow, you just mentioned Mike Bloomberg will be spending money. He's already doing that right now.
$500 million. $500 million by the end of the year, I suspect.
He never said anything like this, but he's aiming toward March 3rd. So they're chopping up the votes like sushi. I mean, let's say coming out of Iowa, that could be Pete Buttigieg. Let's say coming out of New Hampshire could be Senator Warren or Senator Sanders, and Biden gets South Carolina. We'll see how that goes. As you say, you hit that wall. That Bloomberg is now on internet, on television, field organizations, focusing like a general election on those Super Tuesday states. What do you predict?
Well, I think there's going to be a limited impact. I think he's going to be a player, but I don't think he's going to be the dominant figure on the 3rd, because there's going to be some momentum behind the people who are scoring in those four early contests, and that's going to sort of offset some of his spending. But I do think he's going to be a factor. I don't think he's going to be the dominant factor on the 3rd of March. But again, think about it. 48% of the delegates will have been selected to the convention in less than 5 weeks. So What if they get split up among 4 or 5 candidates? What if Biden gets a bunch, Warren gets a bunch, Sanders gets a bunch, Buttigieg gets a bunch, Bloomberg gets some? Maybe Tom Steyer gets a few here and there. Maybe Amy Klobuchar gets a few here and there. Minnesota's going to vote early. She's going to do well there. We will have it. I mean, the more you chop up that 48%, the more difficult it gets to be to have 50% on the first ballot. And remember, by the end of March, 69%, nearly 7 out of every 10 delegates to the Democratic National Convention will be chosen by the end of March. When, again, those people, because if they have enough money and enough to be competitive in some of those states, they'll be playing right through the end of March. And we're likely to have this thing chopped up all across the board.
And when you're chopped up all across the board, how do they put it together? Is it a brokered convention?
Well, I've got a column coming this week in the Wall Street Journal, my predictions for 2020, and I predict that nobody arrives in Milwaukee with a majority of the delegates, what they call the pledged delegates. Now, they could win on a first ballot, but only if there's a preliminary ballot that gives a sense that somebody's way ahead, and people stand up and say, you know, Ohio changes or Colorado changes from, you know, X to Y.
Yeah.
Or a second ballot. And remember, if they go to a second ballot, there are 765 superdelegates who are not allowed to vote on the first ballot, who are unelected, who've been appointed a long time ago. Donna Brazil's a superdelegate and has been one since 2001, for example, our Fox colleague. Those people get to vote on the second ballot. They're not present on the first ballot. Boy, it could be a really complicated picture in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and you know what they're going to say when that happens? They'll say the fix is in, that the Democratic power brokers are trying to, run the game again.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It won't be as bad as Chicago 1968, but it could be ugly. Anybody who's been at the 2016 Democratic Convention and saw the Sandernistas, I call them, the Bernie Sanders supporters, how they reacted to any traditional Democrat on the floor, that could be a very unpleasant place. And he will be in the fight all the way to the end, his health allowing.
And those Sandinistas are still out there. Karl Rove,
they sure are.
Down in Austin. Karl, have a great Happy New Year. It is going to be some year. Good to see you.
It is, and I've got 4-leaf clovers and horseshoes on my tie. Let's hope it's a lucky year as well. Eric, Happy New Year to you.
You too. Thank you, Karl.